The top so we can go directly to your questions. Josh, you want to start?
Sure, thanks, Josh. Let's start with the uproar over FBI Director Comey's decision to notify Congress and therefore the public about the new look at some of these emails. It seems like there's been really bipartisan condemnation of that decision. The Justice Department is pretty openly saying they advised him that that was not appropriate. Eric Holder says that was the wrong decision. Attorney generals of both parties. Without getting into the content of the investigation, which I know you can't discuss, does the president feel it was appropriate for Comey to make that public just days before the election?
Well, Josh, I anticipate this where you wanted to start. I appreciate you noting that over the nearly 2 years now that I've been answering questions about Secretary Clinton's email system, that I've made clear that the White House is going to be scrupulous about avoiding even the appearance of political interference in prosecutorial or investigative decisions. And that is a posture that I won't change, and is a posture that speaks to the kind of institutional responsibilities that are vested here in the White House, which is preserving the independence and integrity of independent investigations conducted by the Department of Justice. Now, you raised a question about some of the decisions that have been made to communicate information about those investigations to the public. And what's true is, Josh, is that I don't have any independent knowledge of how those decisions were made. I don't know what factors were considered, dating all the way back to July, when Director Comey announced the results of the investigation and spoke at length to the public about his decision not to prosecute Secretary Clinton. Included in that news conference were some rather harsh condemnations of the way that Secretary Clinton handled that situation. Director Comey also testified before Congress at some length, on camera, under oath, about the investigation. And some of that testimony provided fodder to Secretary Clinton's critics. Over the course of the fall, we've seen the FBI move forward in providing other investigative information, 302 forms and other documents, to Congress. And the fact is, my lack of independent knowledge about that decision-making prevents me from weighing in. So I anticipate that this is not the only question I'm going to get asked about this today, but I'll neither defend nor criticize what Director Comey has decided to communicate to the public about this investigation. What I will say is that the Department of Justice in our democracy is given expansive authority to conduct investigations. The Department of Justice is given subpoena power. They're allowed to compel witnesses to testify. They are able to collect evidence that's not readily available necessarily. They're even allowed to impanel a grand jury. Those are substantial authorities. It's important in the mind of the president that those authorities are tempered by an adherence to long-standing tradition and practice and norms that limit public discussion of facts that are collected in the context of those investigations. And there are a variety of good reasons for that. And the president believes that it's important for those norms and traditions and guidelines to be followed.
Were they in this case?
Well, again, I think you'd have to, I know that there's been a lot of discussion about this. And by discussion, I mean a lot of public reporting based on a multitude of anonymous sources at the Department of Justice. The president believes that there are a set of significant institutional responsibilities that officials at the Department of Justice and the FBI must fulfill. The good news is the president believes that Director Comey is a man of integrity, he's a man of principle, and he's a man of good character. That presumably is the reason that President Bush chose him to serve in a senior position at the Bush administration's Department of Justice. These same character traits are what led a strong majority of Democratic and Republican senators to confirm him to this job. These are the traits that led the president to select him to be the director of the FBI? And these are tough questions. And so it's a good thing that he's a man of integrity and character to take them on.